The second part of the chapter switches from the hunter-gatherers to domestication. And in domestication, it's the intentional planting of crops and taming of animals. So now we're not just wandering around picking whatever's growing or hunting whatever comes across our path, but we're being intentional about it. We're making the connection between different plants and the seeds they bear, and that if we save some of those seeds or put some of those plants or water them, there'll be plants there when we come through next year. So this is kind of like in between hunter-gatherer and like full-scale domestication. This is kind of like domestication light. So you might domesticate a dog as a hunter-gatherer, and you might incorporate the dog into your band or group, and the dog may actually help you hunt, right? Or it might carry your sled or your supplies, or you might use it to be a warning against intruders or invaders. And so we're not just talking about domestication of things to eat, like cattle or chicken or pigs, but it could also be domestication of the horse or the camel or a dog, things that we use as beasts of burden, or we might milk, or we might actually have as like a pet or companion, right? So just something we like to have around. But the same thing is occurring with animals. And I gave the example earlier about corn and how there is no wild corn today. It has been so changed by human beings over the millennia that we took what was basically a grass with grass seeds, and through selective breeding, humans were able to produce like foot-long ears of delicious corn that we have today. And this same thing has been done with almost all the plants that humans use for food. There are still wild bananas, and if you see them, they look very different from domesticated bananas. Domesticated bananas have been selected to be the perfect size and shape for the human hand. But a wild banana is short, fat, squat, and full of seeds. But through the years of selective breeding, we have chosen. Same thing with apples, pears, peaches, nectarine. All these different plants are not like they were created at the beginning, but they have been interacted with and selected for different traits, sweetness, size, texture, color, by humans. And now we've got to a place where we can actually do this without hybridization, and we can actually go in and splice certain traits we desire into different plants and animals. So in your lifetime, you are going to see things and experience things that the world has never seen before, simply because our level of technology and the way we can engage with the natural world, plants and animals. And in fact, there's quite a bit of controversy in our country over this, and I don't quite understand it fully, but at the moment, companies do not have to label genetically modified food. That would be GMO food. Now, many companies will label this is a non-GMO food, and they'll use it as like a marketing technique. But if it doesn't have this is not a GMO label, you can't assume that that broccoli you're eating is just broccoli. It may have been crossed with cauliflower. And if you're allergic to cauliflower, you could have a breakout by eating what looks like broccoli to you. They have even put human genes into pigs to produce a more lean and tender pork product. And I don't know what you feel about things like that. In Europe, they call it frankenfood. And it's why there's a lot of ban against certain American meats and produce, because in Germany, they're a little bit ahead of us on the progressive curve, and they want to know where the food came from and what's in it. And if you've crossed plants or animals genetically to produce a certain product, they want it on the label, and they want the choice to know about it. To me personally, I think that's completely reasonable. I mean, I don't know about banning it because we haven't done enough research. It may be perfectly healthy and fine. We don't know yet because this is really new technology. We haven't been able to do like decades-long studies to see what happens if you're eating genetically modified food? Is that going to genetically modify the person eating it? And that science is still coming in. But I think labeling it would be a good thing, personally. Okay.